Hi folks, and welcome to the show this week. I'm here at a lake I haven't been to in quite a while, and I've really been looking forward to coming back. It's Lake Whitney, and it's had its ups and downs over the past few years. Right now, it's in a tremendous up cycle, so I'm glad to be here. I'm also glad that Fox Sports Outdoors is on the air right now.
You're watching the only program with weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southeast region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
Hi folks, my name is Brian Hughes, and in addition to hosting the Texas Fishing and Outdoors show on the radio, I am the Fox Sports Outdoors Lone Star Lakes insider reporter for the Southwest region. I'll be guest hosting this episode for Barry Stokes today from beautiful Lake Whitney, located just outside the town of Whitney, Texas. Lake Whitney was impounded in 1951, and it's about a 23,000 acre lake with lots of rocks and bluffs and deep structure. It's got good crappie, catfish, largemouth bass, and striped bass fishing, and what we're gonna go after today, the white bass. Now, we're gonna have your insider reporters from around the region with their local freshwater and saltwater reports, as well as your Coast to Catch of the Week and the Ask the Pro segment. Right now, it's time for me to get the Tracker Pro Team 195 off the trailer and in the water so we can go and catch some fish. So we're gonna send you back to the FSN studios and your weekend planner.
According to the Salooner tables, it will be fair fishing all the way around this weekend. Look for peak morning hours to begin before sunrise both days and again at 4:47 on Saturday afternoon and 5:47 p.m. on Sunday. Expect the sun to rise at 6:42 and set at 8:08. And evenings will feature a crescent moon that is only 15% visible. We'll be right back with fishing reports from around the area, and we'll talk catfishing on this week's Ask the Pro. Back in a bit.
All right, we've got the boat out on the lake. We're just looking now as we idle along for some structure to fish. That's humps, road beds, anything we can find that's holding bait fish. As I idle along, I'm gonna mark some spots. Got my marker right here. We're gonna toss that out. Now the weather is back and forth. The forecast has rain, the forecast has wind, the forecast has clouds. We'll just have to see how the day goes when we come back on Fox Sports Outdoors.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Tracker Boats. It's more than a boat, it's a tracker. Mercury Marine, go boldly. Lowrance Electronics, celebrating 60 years of fish finding excellence. Find, navigate, dominate. And Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there.
Okay, here we go. There's a little Lake Whitney sand bass. There he is. Okay, all right, here we go. Okay, here we go. All right, there's a sand bass. That's what we came out to look for. He's deep hooked. I'll tell you something about these fish. You've got spawning fish coming back out of the creek mouth. Sand bass spawn before any other species. In late February, early March, they'll move way back up in the creeks, do their spawning thing, and then slowly make their way back out towards the main lake, at which point they'll school up in big schools and chase shad. So the key to this is to find your shad. That's a good one. He's little. We're not keeping him right now, so we'll throw him back. Find your shad on your electronics and drop a marker buoy. Then go back and fish that area with your slabs. You might keep a top water handy in case they start schooling on shad on top, or you can even use Alabama rigs. But bait fish is the key. When these fish come back from the spawn, out in the mouths of the creeks and out onto the main lake points before the summer pattern, they're looking to feed and feed heavily. Now, once summer gets here and those warmer months get here, they'll move into even deeper water, 20, 30, 40 feet, and they'll still feed, but they'll be feeding over structure. Right now, they're keying on the shad.
Now let's get you some lake reports from your local region in freshwater and saltwater from our insider reporters.
The days of fighting with your deep crankbaits are over. The all-new deep cranking coffin from Bass Mafia is the solution. Waterproof, crush-proof, and designed to hold up to 44 deep crankbaits in individual compartments. Check them out at mafiaoutdoors.com. Hey guys, welcome to this week's Tennessee and Kentucky Fishing Report. It's an awesome time to be here, be fishing right now. There's a lot going on. The water's coming up, the water's warming up, and the fish are moving up. The bass are really shallow right now. In the Tennessee and Kentucky region, most of the reservoirs are filling up to summer pool, which means the bass are just following the water right up to the bank and to whatever shallow cover is available. Real easy to catch them on soft plastics, jigs, spinner baits, buzz baits, that type of thing. The crappie are some have spawned, some are spawning. They're kind of in all different phases. You can catch them around ditches, shallow wood cover, be it stumps, brush piles, stake beds, what have you. One of my favorite things going on this time of year though is the bluegill or brim and shellcracker bite. Those guys right now are moving up and they're making beds, and they're going, predominantly they go to places where they've bed in the past. So if you know a place where you've caught them in the past, you can go back there, put your red worm, a cricket, you can use little soft plastics, but it is a ton of fun and a great way to introduce somebody to the sport of fishing. Guys, it's a wonderful time to be here. We'd love to see you on the water in Tennessee and Kentucky. God bless.
There he is. Okay, here we go. There's a little Lake Whitney sand bass. White bass, I should say. The proper name is white bass. Nicknames include sand bass and sandies. And I spoke a little bit earlier about structure. It's important to know the difference between structure and cover. Cover is a place where fish can hide. Anything like hydrilla, milfoil, lily pads, boat dock, a piece of laydown timber, even a shadow, something as simple as a shadow, that's cover. Structure is a change in the bottom contour, where the bottom of the lake moves from perfectly flat to a ledge, a drop off, a creek channel, a hump, anything like that. We're out here on the main lake on a big hump very near the mouth of a creek where these sand bass have returned from the spawn, migrating back out into the main lake, and they stopped at this very first little hump off the bank. We're gonna throw him in the live well. We're gonna see if we can get some more for you right here on Fox Sports Outdoors. All right, he looks pretty good. Let's get him in here and see for real. Come on. There he is. Oh. All right, he looks pretty good. Let's get him in here and see for real. Come on, there's a good one. There we go, that's what we're looking for. That's the kind of white bass we want to catch right there. Now the limit on this lake is 25, and they must be longer than 10 inches. White bass, generally, a trophy white bass would be 17 inches. That'd be a monster. 12 to 14 is likely what you're going to see most of the time. Lake Whitney has an interesting history. The lake is a little over 65 years old, but since 2001, it's had a rough time. Starting in 01 through 2010, it had several outbreaks of golden algae and lost several million fish in those outbreaks. After the golden algae, the last outbreak being in 2010, after the golden algae, the lake experienced, like all Texas lakes, a terrible drought. This was all very hard on the fish, and the floods that came after were very hard on the infrastructure around the lake. The state parks, the national parks that are here, the marinas all suffered terrible damage from the flooding. However, the bright side to the flooding, the positive, if you will, was that it brought fish populations back. White bass are very prolific spawners, and they have come back in fantastic numbers, and a very aggressive stocking program from Parks and Wildlife has brought the striped bass population back up to par. As a matter of fact, biologists say that right now, Lake Whitney is fishing better than it ever has in its entire history. Now it's time for you to get some local reports from your region from our insider reporters.
Hey folks, it's time for your Carolinas Report, this week brought to you by the Dead Dog Saloon. And remember, if you're in the Grand Strand area or in Murrells Inlet, make sure you put us on your list of destinations to visit. Come by and see what all the locals love here. It's always about the food, the view, and the music. We've got the best live entertainment in the entire Southeast, 7 nights a week. Let's talk about the saltwater side of things. I tell you what, the king mackerel, aka the Mercury missiles, have showed up in the Southeast. The Carolinas in particular are enjoying a great bite right now. From the 44-pounder that was caught on Ocean Crest Pier last week to the many 15 and 20 pounders that are being caught on the nearshore reefs in that 30, 40, 50 foot of water right now. Get out with some cigar minnows on a jig head with a stinger hook, troll 3 miles an hour, you're gonna have a great time. If you can get some live bait, get out there with those, you'll catch your bigger fish. Also in the inshore side of things, the top water trout bite in the early mornings and late afternoons is on fire. You need to try the bone-colored whopper plopper. I know it's made for bass fishing, but you get out there and try it on these trout and tell me what you think. Also on the offshore side of things, that warm water starting to move in. We're getting some real good eddies coming off the Georgetown Hole, the Winyall Scarp, the Blackjack Hole. Starting to see some great fish being caught and some numbers that are finally getting caught. We've got dolphin showing up and tuna. Remember, get out there, enjoy a great day out there. Be careful, watch the weather so you get home safe.
There he is. Go. Oh, this one feels like a good one. I just changed my setup. We were using a slab spoon. Sand white bass are great for taking kids fishing. I get asked that question a lot, and they're easy to catch. It doesn't take a lot of expensive equipment. You find them on your electronics and then drop a slab on top of them. Very simple, not a lot of casting or anything like that. The action has slowed down just a little bit, so as you can see, I added a little dropper to it. That's just a crappie jig. Stop, stop, stop. That's just a crappie jig a few feet above the slab, and I'm going to show you all this a little bit later. But after it had slowed down, first cast, I was able to catch this guy. That's a good keeper Sandy right there. He'll make the length limit. Just get this hook out of him. So again, you don't need a lot of fancy equipment. You can get the kids out there. You're just going to find them on your electronics. When you find one, you usually find a lot so they can have a lot of fun. Now, I normally recommend that folks don't buy the cartoon type rods and reels, but for young kids and white bass fishing, those will work just fine. I want to say thanks real quick to Randy Ruth and Team Redneck Guide Service for giving us the tip on where to start our day out here.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Lew's, fueled by passion, driven by innovation. Feel the difference. Jean LaRue Bass Baits and Bobby Garland Crappie Baits, the leaders in soft plastic lures innovation. And NITRO Performance Fishing Boats. Champions aren't born, they're made.
Oh, there you go. There you go. That's what we're looking for. Oh, there he is. All right, well, it looks like we have another one. Oh, he feels pretty good. That's a good little pull. Let's hope he's another little white bass. Oh, there you go. There you go. That's what we're looking for. You know, again, these are great for kids to catch for a couple of reasons. And one of those is that usually when you find them, you're going to find a lot of them, and they're going to get to catch a lot of fish. They're going to get to catch pretty much as many as they want to catch. You'll have to wade through some small ones to get there, and we've caught a lot of fish today. Some of them weren't big enough to make camera. The other thing that's great about having kids out fishing for white bass, there's a little guy, is you're doing a vertical presentation. Earlier, we were hopping that lure up off the water, up off the bottom, oh gosh, 2-3 feet maybe, and letting it fall back. The wind has absolutely died. And the only thing that seems to work now is little bitty hops. We're just popping it off the bottom a little bit, 6 or 7 inches, letting it fall back down. That seems to be working. So we'll keep at it and see if we can get you some more.
This part of the program is brought to you by Visit Jacksonville. Northeast Florida offers great fishing, family-fun beaches, top restaurants and resorts that are easy to get to, and offer outdoor fun for everyone. So come on, visit Jacksonville. Well, I heard from my good friend Captain Brad Stewart from Tybee Island, Georgia, and he's back in business with his tackle shop, giving up good fishing reports after last year's hurricane came through. And Brad's telling me that the black drum fishing and sheepshead action there around Savannah has been outstanding. He and his guide anglers are doing very well for sheepshead up to about 6 or 8 pounds. A nice size eating black drum up to 8 or 10 pounds, and there are some big black drum around in some of the deeper holes. Offshore the coast of Georgia, sea bass fishing and has been good, and the flounder are starting to move in around the inlets, and there are some on the inshore areas around creek mouths off the intercoastal waterway and in the sounds. In Alabama, Captain Charlie Gray says that the trout fishing in lower Mobile Bay has been good. There are some slot reds to be caught with them for anglers using live shrimp and popping corks or topwater plugs early in the morning. In Mississippi, ground mullet fishing, these are whiting, has been excellent. Great family fun, small piece of squid or shrimp fished on the bottom around the state reefs is producing a lot of fish. You can catch 20, 30 fish in the morning, easy fishing, and make a great fish fry. Well, that's it for the coast. It's gonna be a busy summer. Come on down.
This week's Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi Freshwater Fishing Report is brought to you by Gadsden, Alabama. One of Northeast Alabama's premier tournament bass fisheries, Gadsden gives anglers everything you could need close by. Convenient boat ramps, hotels, and good dining make the Coosa River and Neely Henry Lake experience one to remember. Now, as the month of April is winding down, fishing conditions are perfect across the deep south region. Temperatures are hovering around 80 degrees or less, and this makes for comfortable days on the water. Also, if you're targeting big female largemouths, you can do it without gilt right now. Those big sows are off of the bed and finished with the spawn. On Alabama's Gunnersville Lake, the bass are on the grass flats adjacent to those spawning areas right now. Look for eelgrass in about depths up to 13 feet of water to find these fish. Another option is to check out the channels coming out of Seabolt and South Salty Creeks. Those largemouths use these to reach the grass flats. Tossing Cincos or swim baits are both good tactics to catch these big fish. Now, similar action is found on Mississippi's Barnett Reservoir near Jackson right now. You want to target the edges of grass beds or the posts of docks in about 5 feet of water, and that's particularly in Pelahatchie Bay. For spawning bluegill this week, Georgia's Big Laser public fishing area near Thomaston in the mid-state is the place to be. You want to drop crickets into these beds and you're almost guaranteed to get a bite.
We really had a blast this week fishing Lake Whitney and catching white bass. We couldn't possibly show you all the fish we caught in just a half-hour program, but we did have a lot of fun doing it. Up next, we're going to do the Costa Catch of the Week and tell you who the winner is of a new pair of Costa sunglasses. We're going to answer the viewer question on our Ask the Pro tip segment, and I'll be back with a wrap-up of this week's program right here on Fox Sports Outdoors.
Be sure to join Fox Sports Outdoors again next week, Thursday night at 6, or catch the repeat airing Sunday morning at 8:30. And you can always watch the latest episode in full HD on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Plus, catch up on all past episodes by clicking the archive button. And see lots of our how-to and product videos by selecting the how-to button. Join our online fishing community. Just click the like button on our Facebook page for access to daily posts with lots of fishing news, videos, and frequent giveaways. And stay up to date with all the latest fishing information and photos by following our Twitter feed. Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Motor Guide Trolling Motors. Motor Guide, because accuracy matters. Academy Sports and Outdoors, right stuff, low price, every day. And Excite Technologies, powering the world forward.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Ask the Pro question. This week, Roger would like to know, does live or dead shad work better to catch big blue catfish? For the answer, we asked Trophy Catfish Guide Chad Ferguson.
Without a doubt, dead shad or cut dead shad work better for catching big blue catfish than live shad. Now, every once in a while, there's always going to be an exception. There's always exceptions in fishing. You may have that one time where a live shad work better, but as a general rule, dead shad or cut bait from dead shad is going to be your best bet. Remember that blue catfish are opportunistic predators. So they're going to go around and they're going to look for an easy meal. And if they absolutely have to, they're going to expend the energy to chase bait. So they're used to swimming around looking for dead or dying bait fish to feed on, and will usually only chase a live bait if it's a last resort.
Thanks, Chad. If you have a question for one of the pros, visit our website, follow the Ask the Pro link on the right side of the page, and let us know. Now, one of our viewers wins a new pair of sunglasses on the Costa Catch of the Week.
Hi, folks. Now it's time for this week's Costa Catch of the Week winner. And the winner is Barrett Keel of Piedmont, South Carolina, with a 40-pound blue catfish caught out of Monticello Reservoir right there in South Carolina. To enter the contest, go to foxsportsoutdoors.com, click the Costa Catch box on the right side of the home page, and follow the instructions to send in your big fish photo. You could win a new pair of Costa sunglasses. You can see all the Costa sunglasses by going back to the home page of our website and clicking on the Costa logo. You'll see all the 580 glass and polycarbonate lenses and all the frame styles, including the frame style I'm wearing today, called Cut. All right, folks, now it's time for our gear segment where I tell you what I used to catch these fish today. First, we started with a spinning rod and reel. Now, any rod and reel combo will work for your white bass. I chose a spinning rod because they're easy to work with, and you can also use push button rods or your standard bait cast rods. Although I had a spinning reel, because we could have might have run into some big giant stripers on this lake, I went ahead and spooled up with 20-pound braided line. We started today with a green and silver slab, and it worked rather well for quite a while until the weather conditions changed, which happened a couple of times. Then I added a crappie jig to that as a dropper about 3 feet above the slab. That worked for a moment or two, but then the wind completely died and the sun came out, and I went to the silver slab instead and started doing little bitty hops off the bottom. That's how we caught our fish today on Fox Sports Outdoors. Thanks so much for joining us this week. I want to remind you that the techniques you saw us use for white bass here today will also work in your area, and I hope you get a chance to get some kids out, get out there on the water, have some fun with these techniques, catch yourself some white bass, folks. Barry will be back next week. Until then, be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.